It's time for another important definition in our study of the real numbers. Today, we're going to introduce what open sets are, and we'll go through a couple examples as well as a non-example. Here's the definition of an open set. A subset U of the real numbers is said to be open if, for every element x of U, there exists a positive number delta such that all real numbers that are less than delta away from x, which is what this represents, all real numbers less than delta away from x, form a subset of U. If this is the case for every element of U, we call U an open set. We can also define open sets in terms of neighborhoods, which notationally I think can be more convenient. We would say that U is an open set if for all elements x of U, there exists some delta neighborhood of x, denoted v delta of x, such that v delta of x is a subset of U. So these are delta neighborhoods of x. It's just another notation for this interval here. So that's what an open set is. In some textbooks, they will give this definition with an epsilon instead of a delta. There's no difference. I just prefer to use a delta for a variety of reasons. Anyways, the idea of an open set is that a subset of the reals is open if every element has some space around it that is still entirely contained in the set. So for a picture example of an open set, consider this disk. A disk is the region bounded by a circle. We can think of this as an open set because any point that you give me from the disk, say you give me this point here, I can find some neighborhood around this point, just represented by another circle, that is entirely contained in the disk. So the disk is open. You could give me any point in the disk, maybe this one here. I could find a neighborhood around this point that is entirely contained in the circle. One more. You could give me any point. Bam, there's a neighborhood around the point entirely contained in the circle, or the disk, to be more precise. This is what we're talking about with open sets. But of course, for us, we're talking about this on the real number line. On the real number line, an open set might look like this, the open interval from A to B. You could give me any point in this interval, and I could give you some neighborhood around that point that is entirely contained in the set. You could give me any point, maybe one over here. I could give you a neighborhood around that point that is entirely contained in the set. That's what makes this an open set. Now let's go through more closely a few examples of open sets. Down here, we'll begin with the real numbers. The real numbers are an open set. And here's why the real numbers form an open set. For any real number x, we could take delta equal to 2. Then all numbers that are less than 2 away from x are all contained in the reals. Any neighborhood around a real number is entirely contained in the real numbers. So the real numbers are a simple example of an open set. In fact, they're so nice that you could have picked any delta value you wanted here, and this would still hold. The empty set is a more interesting example of an open set. This is one of those vacuous truths. I can certainly say the empty set is an open set, just like I can say every element of the empty set is a dwarf that knows how to play golf, because there's no element in the empty set to contradict these statements. Remember the definition of an open set. A set's open if, for every element of that set, there exists some neighborhood around that element, a delta neighborhood around that element, that is entirely contained in the set. So if a set was going to not be open, you'd need to be able to give me some element of the set that fails this, some element of the set so that I can't give you this delta neighborhood that's contained in the set. Now, you can't do that with the empty set because it has no elements, so there's nothing there to contradict the empty set being open. Next, as we would hope, the open interval from A to B is an open set. We can see that with this picture. Here's A, here's B, so the open interval is just all these numbers between them. Let's say you give me some number in this open interval, some number in this set, call it x. Then there's a distance between x and the left endpoint of the interval, so that distance is x minus a. There's also a distance between x and the right endpoint, which we would call b minus x. Now, whichever one of these distances is less, as long as I stay within that range and I don't exceed the distance to an endpoint, then my neighborhood will still be entirely contained in the open interval. Hence, it is surely an open set. So we just have to take delta to be the minimum of x minus a and b minus x. Then all real numbers that are less than delta away from x will still be in the open interval from a to b. Hence, it's an open set. The logic is similar for our last example, a to infinity and negative infinity to b. These open intervals are also open sets. I'm just going to walk you through this one from a to infinity. The one from negative infinity to b is very similar. So here's the justification. The open interval from a to infinity looks like this, right? We go from a all the way out to positive infinity. So delta, my distance from x, could be as big as we want it to be. I'm never going to go past infinity. But we do have to worry about this a over here. We don't want to go outside of that range. We don't want to leave the interval. We're trying to make sure that we get a subset of this interval. So this distance between x and a, that's x minus a. And again, we just want to make sure we don't exceed that. So if we take delta equal to x minus a, then certainly all real numbers that are less than delta away from x will still be in the open interval. Then, since I can give you this neighborhood around any number x that's still in the open interval from a to infinity, that means the interval is an open set. And a quick non-example before we go. As we would expect, closed intervals are not open. For example, to show you why this one is not open, if x were equal to, say, 0, then the open interval from x minus delta to x plus delta will surely contain negatives, no matter how small that positive number delta is. Since this will contain negatives, it certainly can't be a subset of our closed interval, because this closed interval doesn't have any negatives. Thus, since it's possible to provide a number x around which no neighborhood is entirely contained in the interval, that means it is not open. Of course, we could make a similar argument for x equals 1. But for this to not be open, we just need one point where we have this problem. So that's it. Again, we say that a set is open if every element of the set has some open interval around it that is still contained entirely in the set. Next time, we're going to talk about unions and intersections of open sets. We will prove this theorem, that the union of an arbitrary collection of open sets is still open, and similarly, the intersection of a finite collection of open sets is open too. See you then. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions.
Head in the clouds like a little balloon, scaling the stratosphere.